I want to start off sort of broadly. Can you walk me through your reaction when you first, I'm assuming you've seen the video, your thoughts when you saw what happened?
It started off this morning. I got a phone call, from a party family member just asking me, did I know of George? I saw it here yesterday on the news that it hit the news that George Floyd from Yates High School was killed, and I was like, no, I wasn't aware of that. I didn't see that yesterday, and just as in the midst of the conversation, hit the news here locally, and I just really devastated. Just seeing such a great man, someone that that I knew, even though I'm here in Houston, he's there. He's there in Minneapolis. And just immediately just thinking about his family, and those that are there with him, and just to watch the heartfelt video, someone just pleading for help, pleading that I can't breathe, whatever the circumstance, what may have been prior to us viewing it live. But someone is just there for 7 minutes, rendering for assistance, rendering for help, and then later, just to see his life being taken on national TV is just, it's devastating.
So when you first saw that video, you didn't know it was someone you knew. Is that right?
Well, someone called me prior to asking me if I knew George Floyd, and I said yes, I know him. Well, what happened? And said, well, it looks like that he got killed yesterday in Minnesota. You hadn't seen the news, and just while we were on the conversation on the phone, I saw it on the national news, but I did not catch it on yesterday. If it actually aired any time yesterday. So immediately started reaching out to some local friends that we all went to high school together. He played football. I was in the band. We played basketball together. George was he was on the '93 state championship team for Yates High School, and so just a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful young man, a wonderful gentleman. When he was here in Houston, as I understand it from speaking to some high school colleagues, he was there working there in Minneapolis. So definitely prayers and condolences to his family, and but we have to find a way to better communicate with our law enforcement. When we have these type of situations, it's just happening just too repetitively, throughout the country.
Can you touched on it a little bit there? So you were in the same graduating class as George?
Well, George graduated in '93. I graduated in 1994.
Okay.
But again, we spent a lot of time together. There at the high school. Again, like I said, he was on the national state championship team there in 1993. I was right there with them again, just in a band room, setting, or a band performance setting. But again, we did spend a lot of time together on the basketball court, so we did play there at Yates High School, and so he was a very, very instrumental part to the third world community here in Houston. And I know he's definitely going to be definitely a missing pillow. Even though he's not here in our local community, I was definitely going to be definitely a missing pillar, to our Jack Yates High School class.
Can you tell me some of the sentiment or what your fellow classmates, people who knew him that you've spoken to or recognize the name, what are some of those conversations like? Are people just in shock? I mean, it's sort of unexpected, and then on top of it, the video makes it so much worse.
Yeah, definitely. People were really in shock. I haven't talked to George, in a little time again. We've been out of high school, over 30 years now. But from everybody I've talked to today, has just been, just deeply, appalled at the video. I think that just the video just shows, again, somebody is pleading for help. Again, we have no footage of knowing what transpired prior to, but I just think that if someone is there pleading for 7 minutes, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You can give that person some kind of relief. I just don't think that there's too many things that you can interpret out of that video. But I'm saddened to hear about the news, but I'm definitely grateful to see the city of Minneapolis, the chief of police, making news. I just heard here recently that the officers have been already immediately exterminated from employment, which I think is something that we always linger with showing justification in these type of components. So whether it be a racial issue or not, I'm not pleading on that aspect. But again, an African American male has been taken from his family, has been taken from his community, in a very, very, minute, implicit way. This is definitely, uncalled for.
Two more quick questions for you. Does it make it so much? Does it make it worse? The video is awful, no question about it. As a human being, whether black, white, Hispanic, doesn't matter.
Yes.
Watch that video as a human, you're repulsed. If you're not I would question whether you're human. Does it,
Exactly.
what does it do to you knowing, does it make it even, does it hit closer to home knowing that it's a face you knew, a face you spent time with years ago?
Definitely.
Does it make it even worse?
I mean, it definitely makes it worse. But I'm just so tired of just seeing, whether I knew him or not. I'm just so tired of seeing African American, whether I was African American or not. I'm so tired of seeing our males. Let's just put it prospectively, not even putting a race on it. I'm just so tired of seeing young males being taken by law enforcement. So let's just put a period there. Whether it was African American, Hispanic, in this hypothetical situation, we are talking about African American, but so tired of just seeing young males being taken, no matter what the demographic race is, being taken by law enforcement. Not by gun violence, not by gang, but by law enforcement. So there's a tremendous breakdown that we have within our law enforcement in our communities when we're interaction or engaging in these type of accidents. This is broad daylight. This is not a late night scenario, 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who it is. Talking about broad daylight. There's public people there who are videoing, who are engaging the officer. Hey, do you hear him? I know it may be caught up in the moment, but can you hear him? I hear him. He's asking for help. He's pleading for an opportunity to breathe. Can you hear him? And then even after paramedics are driving up, they're checking the pulse, and the officer still has his knee on George's, just down his neck. And this is a very, very a sad moment. And just again, just so tired of just seeing so many of our young males that are just leaving way too early.
Do you remember, you said George was on that 93 state championship football team.
Yes.
Was he playing a lot? I don't know if you remember, was he
Yeah.
actively on the field and a part of
Was
that team?
actively starting, kind of rotated a little bit between tight end and wide receiver. We had a star running back there, and during that time, Gerald Moore, who went on to play NFL ball. So again, a very extraordinary year for JK's High School. And actually to win the state championship, that year was probably one of the late '90 winnings for the high school. But again, he was a part of that show, part of that team, and the picture that they're showing right now in the news, that was his high school jersey, JK's High School. So again, a very, very vital part of not only the history of JK's High School, a very, very vital and important person of this community, and definitely will definitely be a very, very tremendous missed vessel here in the Houston area.
All right, I appreciate it, Donnell. Anything I didn't ask you that you think is important for
No,
folks to know?
again, I just thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that someone is out there that is listening to, I don't have the answers, but I'm hoping that someone as a community that we can come together to find some solutions. But definitely condolences, to the Floyd family, his kids, those immediate mother and father, that's still here. Definitely condolences to the family, and definitely, sending my hearts and prayers out to the entire JY family.
I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.